Right. So this is the second question. I struggle more on building healthy relationships as an introvert. How do I work on myself to build confidence socially, to be able to show up better? How do I heal from past traumas when I don't exactly know where they stem from? So let me repeat the question. I struggle more on building healthy relationships as an introvert. How do I work on myself to build confidence socially, to be able to show up better? How do I heal from past traumas when I don't exactly know where they stem from? So this question has two aspects which may or may not be related to each other, because when we are talking about struggling on building healthy relationships, and then the next part of the question is on past traumas, then these past traumas could be playing part when it comes to the issue of building healthy relationships. Because, for example, if the trauma, and we are going to look at what possibly, where possibly these trauma issues could be stemming from, but if, for example, the trauma is related with a specific gender, for example, a female gender or a male gender, based on the person who asked the question. So if now for example, let's say that it's a father-related issue or a dad-related issue. So like we have like dads who usually even abuse their kids physically or even emotionally or sexually. So if you are abused by your dad, you're most likely going to have a problem bonding or forming a healthy relationship with men. If it's a lady, sorry, if you are abused by your mother, you're most likely going to have an issue building relationship with either women or mothers, because sometimes when somebody has been, you have been abused by someone, sometimes people go to the part of generalizing, that like what sometimes you hear ladies, especially ladies, say that men are dogs, so all men are the same, men are snakes, men are dogs. So because you have been heartbroken by one, so you think that the rest. It is not done consciously, or it is not done, in awareness. It just happens unconsciously. You just find yourself generalizing. You just find yourself hating everybody who looks like this person who abused you. You just find yourself not bonding so well with people who shave, or people who dress, or people who talk, or people who behave like the person who abused you. So it just happens because this person is triggering a memory of abuse. At the moment now that memory is triggered, then you start now, you start now relating with that episode of trauma that happened, and so you end up having a poor relationship with this person. So now, if we can start with trauma, so that, because I'm saying that trauma could now be causing the relationship issue. So let's first of all look at the part of trauma, and then now we can go to the building of the relationship. So how do I heal from past traumas when I don't exactly know where they stem from? Understanding where a trauma is stemming from or is coming from requires deep exploration. It requires someone to first of all understand, because what is happening right now in your life, you are saying there's a possibility of a trauma within me. There's a possibility, or maybe it has already been diagnosed. So you have a trauma. So how does this trauma manifest? What are the key aspects of this trauma? Because this trauma could be, or how you can tell that you have a trauma is simply maybe because you have issues relating with people, or maybe it is because how you can tell there's a trauma is because sometimes you find yourself maybe replaying past memories of something that maybe happened, but you're not sure whether it happened, or you're not even sure whether that is exactly how it happened, because all you have is a very vivid, not vivid, but very vague, the word is vague, very vague pictures or videos in your mind replaying from time to time. So sometimes you can sit down Or sometimes, most people usually get that through nightmares. So there's somebody who is going to tell you that I find myself having a specific theme in all my nightmares. So I'm always somewhere in a room, nimefugiwa in darkness, and then najaribu kuitana, and then kuna mtu anakuja hapo lakini anisaidii. Or I find myself, having this type of nightmares, nakibizwa, napanga ama, So someone can now dig deeper into that, because those nightmares and even dreams usually stem from your unconscious experiences. So those experiences that you had at some point, either they were resolved or not, but they were pushed into most of the times we use the word back, in the back of your mind. So you push them in the back of your mind, into the unconscious mind. So ukaisukuma huko. So now that is the content that usually comes into the conscious mind when now you are asleep. And then now sometimes you can start having nightmares of such experiences. So for you to understand where the trauma is coming from, you need first of all to listen to the trauma, to listen to the manifestation of trauma in the present moment, because there's a way that the trauma is manifesting. For example, when I'm talking about the manifestation, like for example, because I have a phone, so let's say for example, I see the phone is, the screen is off, and then nione the screen imewaka. I'll start asking myself, I know, because nimefanya settings za simu, I'll know probably that is either a message or it's somebody who is trying to call me, but because nimeweka simu don't disturb, na pia nimeweka silent, so that's why maybe imewaka, because you see, so I can tell what could be the cause ya simu kuwaka, because I have seen how it is manifesting. So nikiona imeweka ile the way huwa inazima, so definitely nitajua hiyo ni kuzima imezima, because nimeona hiyo kitu ni ya venye huwa inawaka wakati inazima. But this time round I can be able to look at it and I'll be like, I think that one is somebody who is trying to call me, So and then now I'll be like, sawa, acha nitaangalia, maybe later or something like that. So first of all, listen to the trauma, because that manifestation of trauma, there's something that it is communicating. So don't try to push it. Don't try to try and forget it. Don't try to silence it. Because the mistake that most people do is silencing these things. So you're feeling something unpleasant showing up on the surface, and then because it is painful, because it is unpleasant, because it's not something that you like to experience, so you push it. You don't listen to it, you don't pay attention to it, you just push it, you just nab it. And that is why most people will go into addictions, they'll go into alcohol, using drugs, sometimes irresponsible sexual behaviors, and other self-sabotaging and self-destructive behaviors, to try and silence this thing that is trying to service. But if only you'd know that that thing which is trying to service so that it can communicate something to you. It is trying to service so that it can give you a message. Because this manifestation of the trauma it's bringing something into your attention. It is telling you, there's something that happened 20 years ago and it is still not resolved. So the reason why you are having a challenge interacting with other people could be, this is a communication of, this scenario or this experience is trying to tell you there's still something that you need to work on. There's still something that you have not resolved. There's still something that you silenced. And this thing, you didn't kill it, you just silenced it, and even today, it is trying to voice itself. It is trying to talk. So that is why you're having this challenge here, that is why you're having that challenge here, that is why. So if you now, instead of pushing that manifestation of the trauma, whatever the feeling it is, sometimes it can be a feeling, sometimes you can find yourself very, you emote so much, you are very, sometimes you just sit down somewhere by yourself in a room, and then you start crying out of nowhere. So that is the messenger. It's telling you that, because you cannot just start crying uncontrollably for no reason. You see, then there is something underneath that is trying to come into the service. And because it cannot just show up and tell you, hi, I'm so and so, and this is why I'm servicing because of what happened. So it is going most of the times service as an emotion, as something that you struggle to do, as something that you find yourself doing and you don't want. Sometimes there are people who find themselves, I really don't want to take drugs, but every time I see a drug, I just somehow forget myself and then I just do it. So I always find myself doing it. I don't know how I usually get there, but I always find myself in the action. That means that then that there's something that is pushing you. You are not the one in control. There's something else that is controlling you and pushing you. So at the moment when now you start taking control, that's now when you wake up at the middle of that thing which you do not want. There are other people who say that sometimes I find myself, I get into a relationship and the first week of the relationship we have already had sex. And I had vowed to myself that I don't want to get into a relationship and start having sex. Or, we just meet with a guy and I had said I'm not going to say yes to him, and then he just does something simple and I say yes. And especially when it comes to such scenarios in a relationship. So then that means that you are not the one, because your will is not being granted. Your wish in this case is not coming true. That means then there's something else that is pushing you to do that which you do not want. It's just like what I think in the Bible is this guy called Paul, and then he was saying that there's this thorn, God, that you have placed in my flesh. That the things I want to do are not the things that I do. The things that I do not want to do are the things that I'm always doing. So what is happening? So there's that thorn now is the one which is now taking control. It's the one which is either pushing you or preventing you to go to do something that you want. So first of all, don't judge, not judge, but don't first of all start naming or labeling this experience of that you are having that is manifesting as trauma. Don't first of all label it as negative emotion. Don't first of all label it as trauma. Don't first of all label it as this or that. First of all, take it as a neutral experience, as a neutral thing that is happening, before you give it a negative meaning. Because what happens in life is this: when you give something a negative meaning, it affects you negatively. When you give something a positive meaning, it affects you positively. Last time I remember, there was one person who asked, we did not record that, but there's one person who asked that why is it that the person who knows that sex before marriage is an immorality, when they do it, they become stressed, they think that they have done something wrong to God. But the person who does not know that sex before marriage is wrong, when they do it, they just okay. They are not stressed, they are not depressed, they have not wronged before God. It is because of what your beliefs tells you. I believe this is this way. So because I believe this is like that, so when I do it this way, then it is going to affect me this way. So when you feel that emotion within you, or that feeling, or that experiencing that is trying to manifest as trauma, and then you label it as negative, then from that point it becomes negative, and then it affects you negatively. If you just take it as just something, you just take it as a neutral energy, as a neutral experience, and then you start now assessing it. So that now at the middle of assessing this emotion or this feeling, then that within now, in that journey of assessing it, now you can be able to, without judgment, without already having a fixed mind that this is a negative thing. So you're going there neutral, you have not judged it, you have not said that it is whether negative or positive, but you're just going in to understand what it is. It's just like the way you can join people to watch a football match. So you join a group of a team of friends to join a football match, and then this football match, you have five of you in the team. Two of your friends are supporting this team, Team A. Two of your other friends are supporting Team B. But you're not supporting any team. Wewe umeenda tu watch football for the sake of watching football. You're not supporting anybody. So you don't care whether Team A wins, you don't care whether Team B wins. You don't care who wins and who loses, you are just there to experience the match. By the end of the match, these two groups of people, now there are three groups. There's Team A, there's the neutral one, and there's Team B. By the end of this match, these people are not going to have the same experience. Team A, if they are going to lose, they'll go home mad, they'll go home stressed, they'll go home, wamekasirika. Team B, if they win, they'll go home happy, smiling and all that. What about the guy who was in the middle? He just experienced, he is not happy, he is not sad, he just got the experience, and then he goes home with the experience. He was not watching so that he can celebrate the win. He was not watching so that he can be happy if the team wins. So whether the team wins or loses, he doesn't care. He's just a neutral guy. So if we can approach experiences in life with that kind of a mindset, that this is just a neutral experience, so let me just get in, and then I'm going to find out what it is. I'm going to know whether it is negative or positive, and then from that point on now, I'll be able to now take, understand the experience in reality as it is before I judge it. Because the problem is, these days most people are really diagnosing themselves using Google. So unaenda pale Google unasema, I have headaches, nightmares, and this Google inakwambia wewe ni trauma uko nayo. That is a sign of trauma, and then you diagnose yourself and unasema I'm a traumatized person. And then you start from that point. Now you now Google imekwambia ni trauma, unaenda pale una search. Now how do people with trauma behave? Unajua people with trauma, they make irrational decisions, they start using drugs, others irresponsible sexual behavior, others wanaanza kuachana na self care, others wana withdraw, others wanafanya, others wanajiua, and then you'll be like, because niko na trauma, na hivi ndivyo watu wako na trauma huwa wanafanya. So sooner or later I'll start behaving like those people who have trauma, and sooner or later you actually start behaving like that. Not because, so if ile time ulienda kwa Google hizo symptoms kwa Google wangekwambia the symptoms zenye umetuwekea hapa are symptoms of people who are happy in life, are symptoms of people who are enjoying life to the fullest, are symptoms and signs of people who are really happy in their lives. From that point you would be like, let me go to Google and search how people who are happy in life behave, how people who are living their best life behave, and then you'll be like, then if this is how people who are living their happiest life or their best life behaves, then sooner or later I'll start behaving like that, and actually sooner or later you start behaving like that. So the label that we give to the experience is what determines whether the experience is going to affect us negatively or positively. It's not about what is coming to you, it's about what you do with what is coming to you or what has come to you. So if, for example, you're going through, let's say, a heartbreak, and then you are like, this guy has broken my heart. Now you talk about all the negative things that happens when your heart is broken. I trusted him, he broke my heart, and blah 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 and all that. So you